It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. We got the aftermath of the big storm from the night before. Things were quite a bit calmer last night, but, man, talk about a cleanup job in some neighborhoods. That's going to be one of our stories this morning for sure, as we continue to talk about living right in the midst of the monsoon. Also today on Fox 10 Talks, we've got a doc coming in with the 7 ways everybody should know to stay safe in our summer heat. And even if you've lived here for a long time, do you know all 7? We're going to go through them later this hour. And then the story about sniffing some chocolate before your next workout might have you say, huh? Celeste joins us well. Good morning, Celeste.
Good morning, Ron. How are you?
I'm great. It's a headline. Apparently, some people swear it works. Sniff that chocolate. I know you're on a no chocolate diet.
But it doesn't mean I can't sniff chocolate.
Oh, so smelling it is fine.
Yeah, smelling it's fine.
Would you rather sniff a Snickers or a Butterfinger or a Twix?
When I could eat chocolate, when I didn't have an allergy, it was a Snickers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good
Lately,
stuff.
I've been all about the Twix bars. And I just love this story. Imagine a young man growing up with big dreams of playing in the big leagues, and he's playing Little League ball and probably, hitting with the bat and the ball with his dad in the backyard. He's growing up in Chandler. And now he's the MVP of the All-Star.
Yeah, they're a great family, by the way. Jennifer,
right?
his mother, is a real estate agent, and I shot a cool house with her a few years back. And she is such a proud mama, I got to tell you.
No, that's
yeah, I think he played with the Dodgers for a short time at one point, and now he's with the Mets, right?
I believe so.
New York.
Yep. Yeah. So, or was it the Yankees?
Maybe the Yankees.
Yeah,
He's in New York.
He's a New Yorker.
He's a New Yorker.
By the way,
Thank
it
you,
is
Yankees.
the Yankees. And look at this. We have Trenton joining us as well.
Trenton, good to see you, buddy.
Thank you. I couldn't resist. Sniffing chocolate before the workout. I feel like that's maybe somebody with a substance problem who's coming up with excuses. What were you doing, buddy? You went to the bathroom 5 times. Sniffing chocolate, that's all.
And we all sit in our cars for a couple of minutes before we go into the gym. At least I do. Checking my phone one last time. But if you're trying to sit in the car and sniff chocolate and it's 100 degrees, it's probably going to melt right in your hand.
Yeah, probably. Well, to
careful.
Trenton's point,
It's great visual.
You don't need an ID to purchase the chocolate.
That's true.
It's a legal substance.
Okay. Yeah. Just like you don't to vote. That's good.
Yeah,
Get chocolate.
Very true.
All right.
Hey, there is a story with some video this morning. Cameras are everywhere nowadays, and we put Trenton on this story to try to help it make sense because the video is really something, Trent.
It is. And when we first heard about this, we were kind of like, what is going on in this little confrontation? Because, again, this is a kind of start and finish. This had happened in the moment. And apparently this all started off as a traffic accident. A man had been rear-ended on South Mill Avenue on July 1st in Tempe. And in all the commotion after his van was rear-ended, then another person who wasn't involved in the accident came out and started getting very confrontational and even waving a gun around.
Was he getting confrontational with the guy
who was rear-ended?
Who was rear-ended?
Who was the
Yes.
victim?
Not even
Correct.
the guy who caused the rear-ended accident.
No. So we know from police documents of what MPD collected that it was a female driver who rear-ended the van, but then the guy that got out, who was angry coming across the street, yelling at
he was on the other side of the road.
the victim, if you will.
What was he angry about?
Well, he said you got into an accident. That's my sister's car. He was trying to claim that his sister was driving and rear-ended his van, and he apparently didn't like how the man in the van, who was the victim, was talking to his sister.
Do we know if that's true, or was it a case of mistaken vehicle?
At least what the police records have further on, they said they couldn't establish whether or not that relationship was accurate or not. But regardless, the video, if we could show, it's just incredible.
Okay, so here's as it's all unhappening. Okay, like stating that it was his sister. And so you'll see the actual, here's the...
this is the suspect.
The mug shot. And so, we have a little more in-depth here, but we will get to that video here. And there he is with his IA, his initial appearance.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully this video gets to the main point of it, which is the actual. Here we go. All right, Trenton, walk us through.
So there you see the accident's already happened.
Yeah.
The gentleman who's walking away, that's the one whose minivan was crashed into.
He's pushing him.
Pushing him, confrontational. He's got a gun pointed right at him. And then the man in the minivan gets out of the situation, pulls into a Circle K, where this is the smart part. He realized, okay, I want security cameras, I want witnesses, I want people to see what's happening, because this man is pointing a gun at me. I want there to be witnesses.
So he goes and grabs a sign or something to protect himself?
You see the man with the gun, and that's... court records have identified him as Johnny Ferguson III.
Okay.
So he pulls back into that car, and they pull into the Circle K. And what police say happened from there is the victim in that minivan went inside the Circle K, was trying to look for help, and at the same time, Ferguson's outside. Also, there's the driver of that Nissan, and they're wanting the victim of the crash to come out and fight him, saying, "Come on out,
He's
fight
like,
me."
The guy's got a gun.
He's got a gun, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. So he tries to kind of find what he can in case he has to get into a physical confrontation. The only thing he can find, according to police documents, was a wet floor sign. Can you imagine? A wet floor sign.
Wow.
So he picks that up, and all of that's transpiring, and eventually these two guys, I guess, say, well, we've had enough. The guy's not coming out. We'll leave it there, and they drive away.
Wow.
So we don't know if the person that actually ran into the back of that van is actually related to this guy. He's claiming they are, but we just don't know.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly. Police say they couldn't fully identify that. But we did talk with Tempe PD about, all of this playing out and how it happened, and they had some good advice that essentially this victim in this case made the right decision.
Like you said in this example, the victim ran into the Circle K for the same sake of like his safety. So safety was his priority, so that's why he tried to disengage and run into an area where there were more people and where he could be just surrounded enough so he can get time to call the police.
Wow.
So you're right there. Yeah. Get to somewhere safe, a lot of visibility where people can see what's happening.
Yeah.
If you can get it on camera, it's always better for the investigation afterward.
So true. My goodness.
Wow.
And
you just never know.
You never know. And Trenton, thank you for your work on this, buddy. And I love a man with a pocket square.
Yeah.
Ron, look at Trenton and a pocket square.
Yeah.
That's how
I have to be classy if I'm coming on with Ron and Celeste.
Elevating your game. That, ladies and gentlemen, is
where
what
I can.
that's all about. Thank you, Trenton.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, the other story this morning, see that tree right there? This is just unbelievable.
How can you not?
So we're calling it the cleanup after the storm because there was so much damage in some neighborhoods. This is really pretty wild. It's over there at around 32nd Street in Thomas, which only puts it about a mile and a half north of Sky Harbor Airport. And there were some folks out right in that area who said, oh, by the way, look at this time lapse. Ooh, that was good. Okay, so yeah, it's the day after the storm, and there's still plenty of cleanup to go. So I chatted with Crystal, and she said there's a pretty good possibility for more action tonight.
Yeah.
Look at this. We get a visit from Taylor Wirtz this morning.
How you doing, girl?
Good.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Speaking of the weather, there's a really unique angle that Taylor covered a little earlier that we hadn't had a chance to talk to you about yet. But talk about some epic photos.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how's this for a senior photo shoot?
Oh, I saw these.
This girl is from out of state, and she's studying to be a meteorologist. So Fox 10, take note. Maybe she could work here in the future.
We're always looking.
And she wanted some, a little different than average senior photos.
Let's go for it. Let's show everybody what we're talking about. Wow, that's different for sure.
That is pretty incredible. She came out here with her family for a few days. So I talked to Michael Binsky. He is a professional storm chaser and photographer in the Valley. He said she was out here for about 3 days with her family, hoping they might catch a dust storm, and I think they pretty much nailed it with these photos. So he drove her and her family around. They got out of the car, and I mean, the photos speak for themselves.
It's a different type of storm chasing, right?
It is.
Because a lot of his former work was just the storms.
Right.
But how cool is this? What a unique, photo shoot.
Yeah, and I mean, how many people can say that they stood right on the wall of a dust storm, and you never know how visual they're going to be, and this is just incredible. I hope the white dress didn't get too damaged with all the dust flying around. I think he said that they got in the car just in time.
Oh, good.
Now, you talked to Mike Oblinski, right?
Yes, I
should
did.
we listen to a little bit of that?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
And the actuality extended almost all the way from Mexico, where up to where we were by Gila Bend and into Phoenix and Buckeye. So the size and scope of it was pretty wild yesterday.
So he was talking about just how vast this storm was. He said it stretched almost completely up from Mexico into the valley. And experts I talked with at ASU also said this storm lasted about 4 hours. So even though it wasn't the craziest we've ever seen, it certainly was significant. And they did rate it a Category 3 on that ASU dust storm scale.
Oh, that's right, that Category 3. I was reading, this popped up last night on my social media, maybe because I was talking about storms. You know how our phones are always listening. Something he mentioned was that they were on a flight here, you mentioned from like another part of the country, East Coast, right? They landed at like midnight, right, on Sunday night into Monday.
So.
Yeah, and they woke up at like 1:30 in the afternoon on Monday and then took all these photos.
And they're like, wow, the timing couldn't be better. Where is she from originally? Do we know?
I don't remember. He did tell me, but I do think it's not
somewhere in
not
Pennsylvania.
Arizona, out of
I've
state.
heard.
I believe it's towards the East Coast.
Okay, well, and I bet you she hired Mike. By the way, so these pictures were out there in the West Valley, right, around Buckeye-ish, that area.
I think he said maybe towards Gila Bend.
All the way down there. Okay.
I think they drove around.
Look at Ember Ivante says, did you name this pic Run for Your Life? That's what you would name this photograph. The one where she's running, you know?
Yeah. And if you're a meteorologist, this is your bread and butter right there. I mean, they love this stuff. So I imagine for someone studying it, getting to see it up close is pretty special, especially if you're not from Arizona.
Fantastic,
so true.
Taylor. All right, well, we'll follow her college career. Celeste, you're always over there hanging out at ASU. Maybe you get to meet her.
Maybe bring her on in.
There you go. 3 or 4 years from now, possible employee. Taylor, great story. Thank you.
See you, Taylor.
Thanks, guys.
Tay in the studio.
Yeah, that's right. And folks are saying hi to Taylor. They love seeing you on here on the friendliest chat online. All right, so we got plenty coming up, including one family's search for justice for their disabled family member. Justin Lum will be joining us in just the next few minutes.
And this is a preview of your mystery camera. We'll be right back. What's up, brother? How you doing? All right, welcome back, everyone. This is a live look at your mystery camera this morning, 10:15 at this hour. We're going to give you a full reveal at 10:30, but this is kind of a sneak peek for you at this hour.
Good luck with that one. Partial
green.
roof, partial parking lot, 2 or 3 apartment buildings.
Some
I
trees,
don't know.
green trees.
I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, Dean's back there just rubbing his hands together and smiling,
I know.
laughing at all of our guests.
It was like that wicked laugh.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Celeste, you do that really well. Save that for I don't know, Halloween.
I do
or
that with my
something.
kids, actually. Ha ha ha! You're grounded.
Is that that's when they know they're in trouble?
Give me
right?
the phone. Ha ha.
Hey, Justin Lum joins. It's been a while since we've had Justin here
Good to see
in
you.
the big streaming studio. Welcome aboard, Justin.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, we had, like you said, some heavy hitters today. So I'm just,
Yeah, there
working
you
off
go.
the
Sure.
coattails of Trenton and Taylor,
right?
heating things up. So I can talk to you guys about our latest report airing tonight at 9 on Fox 10.
You've really been doing some good investigative work. Tell us
Thank
about
you.
this one.
Yeah, so this has to do with vulnerable adult exploitation. This case is really sad because you have a man here named Sean Percy. He's about 60, 61, and he's disabled because back in 1980 he had a severe traumatic brain injury, and that changed his life forever. During that time, he actually fell at a pool area on vacation as a 14-year-old, slipped, hit his head, and totally changed his life just like that. About 18 or 19 or so, he got close to a friend from high school named Samuel Buot. Now, Samuel Buot became sort of his best friend, caretaker, and at some point he gets him to sign over the power of attorney. And so as the years go by, decades go by, Sean's family sort of gets blocked from him. The access declines and they really can't help him. But of course, Sean doesn't really know how much help he needs because now Samuel, fast forward, is behind bars on a $500,000 bond. He's accused of fraud and theft and unlawful use of power of attorney. 4 years prior to this, to an actual criminal investigation, he was placed on the APS registry, Adult Protective Services, for exploiting Sean, allegedly. But according to APS, that is what happened. They determined that he took advantage of his funds, his Medicaid benefits, and Social Security. Sean had no idea. He had been through many, many facilities, and it's just, this was his life. This was his best friend, someone he trusted, and now that person is behind bars. So we get into the case tonight. I think it's a warning for people. I think it's also a platform to shine light on issues for vulnerable adults, those who are disabled. And now we're hearing from this family exclusively as they hope for justice, and they're making up for lost time and able to get closer and spend time with their loved one who's now been separated from this suspect for the last 4 years. But it took time to get to criminal charges.
Let's listen to a little bit of this.
Sam had full access to Sean's finances and decision making.
A Scottsdale businessman trusted to take care of his disabled friend.
Under the guise of, hey man, I'm going to be your best friend. I'm going to make you rich.
Now accused of more than a decade of deception and fraud, totaling several $100,000.
He has had control of Sean's annuity for multiple decades.
What inside sources say the case will reveal.
He has harmed so many. I hope that this case brings real accountability.
Fox 10 investigates tonight at 9.
Wow.
Yeah, what a story. My goodness. It's heartbreaking that things like this take place, and it takes a little bit of digging. I mean, in some of the video we saw kind of how you were investigating, some of the background there, and the fact that it happens though in a lot of cases probably don't have the spotlight on them.
Yeah, and I would, that's a good point. I would advise people to, you can go onto the Department of Health Services website or Adult Protective Services, and you can see who is on that registry, who is basically not allowed to have contact with a vulnerable adult, not have care. You look at one case way back, April McLaughlin, the House of Horrors in Chandler, who she had her elderly mother in that house full of dozens of dogs. You remember that? I mean, she's on the registry. So those are the type of situations that APS has to investigate, and sometimes it takes a lot of time. It takes whistleblowers. It takes the right people to get those tips. And that's what happens that we bring out in the story of how the problem got sent to APS. They investigated, and then how it took so much time for the AG's office to get involved, and now here we are in the criminal justice system.
And did it all unravel for this guy based on one tip? Or, I mean, how did it unravel?
I think it happened with one tip. According to the family, at one of these facilities, a nurse, someone on the staff, had been watching Sam and Sean and may have noticed something odd about the behavior. Something piqued her interest. Something was a red flag, and that became a tip to Adult Protective Services to, ring the alarm. The investigation took time. In court, they basically severed the two, so he no longer had power of attorney because of the determination of the exploitation. I mean, we're talking about at least maybe $200,000 in a span of 2008 to 2022, so who knows how much money has been allegedly stolen since he's been in his care since, I don't know, maybe the 80s, late 80s, mid 80s. This was someone he was tied to and depended on, Sean did, for a long time. So you think about the money that's managed and what happens with that money, and what his life could have been like as far as the quality of life. And now he's in good hands. According to his family, things are much better. But now they want to see accountability through the justice system. So,
we have some comments in the chat, and people are saying they love your stories. I know. How do you get stories like this? How do you start your investigative work? I know people probably from the community reach out to you.
Yeah, I will say I appreciate that, and we get a lot of emails and calls, and I apologize in advance that I can't get back to everyone, but we got a good team here with our executive producer, George Obie. Trenton Hooker is on the team when he's not doing streaming stuff too. He's all over the place.
He was just on air with us at the top of the hour.
John Davidson on the desk. I mean, I always say the engine of a newsroom, the assignment desk, people that are really into records requests and getting more information and curious. So when we get these tips, we vet them as soon as we can. There's so many. And I think as we've done this investigative project since 2022, when I got into this role, we've built that. And so we get, really our best reports come from the community.
Yeah. So keep sending them in.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of really good people in the newsroom that are digging through and helping you out.
Yeah, exactly. So Fox 10 Investigates at fox.com. That's where you can find us and me on social media. And I try to get back to people, but we also have a team that looks through these, all kinds of tips that we get. Yeah.
Let me just mention, Darla is in here saying DCS needs to be shut down and brought back up as a different type of organization. Is your story going to focus on Sean and on this other person that got arrested?
Yeah.
Or are we going to be, is there some implication that the government could have and should have done more?
I don't think there's an implication there. I think it took the right person to notice the red flags. I mean, he had been through several facilities. Obviously, he had family, too, that were probably, trying to document the signs, but they were also cut off from Sean, according to them.
tough.
So how do they document things when they're not able to communicate with him consistently? And in this case, it's Adult Protective Services as the investigative agency, but not at a criminal level. It's a state agency, just like Access when we talk about Medicaid fraud, but they can refer a case to a law enforcement agency like the Attorney General's office that for whatever reason it did take 4 years for there to be a grand jury indictment in May. And so we were able to see, I guess this was more of a social media tip that I'd seen a family member posted about this, like finally he's been arrested, talking about Samuel Buat, and reached out, and then we went through the documents and took it from there. So
you almost need those whistleblower type of, you know what I mean? Because I mean, if you think of like CPS and APS, sometimes you have one person who's handling so many cases.
Yeah, DCS is a whole nother topic for another day.
Situation.
This is with vulnerable adults in the story. DCS obviously with kids in Arizona's child welfare system, but definitely something that we track as well.
By the way, there's somebody in the chat, Ron, that says Justin for president.
Wow.
Lum for Thomas Fabula.
It's funny because I'm going home thinking Justin for Congress. And here's already our viewers are like, oh no, go straight to the White House.
Yeah, Thomas is like, you know what, Justin, when you're done with being an investigative reporter, you can be president.
There you go.
Oh, well, I'll be on Fox. You guys will get the first interview.
Oh,
okay,
good.
Yeah. Fox 10 Talks.
This is not an official announcement. A disclaimer.
Good.
This
I'm
is
glad
not
about that. 9 o'clock tonight, right, Justin, for the whole story?
Exactly, 9 p.m. p.m. tonight.
Justin
Nice work,
putting
buddy.
in the long
Appreciate
day.
it.
That's
Good
for
work.
sure. All right, let's go to a couple of other stories. Just hang tight for 1 second here, Justin, because what was going on in one downtown neighborhood? These protests over ICE. Maybe take a listen and watch this now. And you could hear people chanting that they want ICE out. They are concerned about what's been happening over the last week or two, the shootings in Texas and in Maine. They say there are too many attacks on the migrant community. And so this was a big, big protest right there in those near the ICE offices at about Central and McDowell. And so it led, Celeste, to a poll question today after the announcement that they're going to pause all these traffic stops, or apparently nearly all these traffic stops. So let's dig into it. Here's our poll question. Should ICE agents continue using those vehicle stops? President just announced on Truth Social this morning they're going to stop them, at least for the time being. 23% say ban the practice. 5% say keep them, but make them more targeted. And 72% say don't hamstring ICE, keep these stops, allow them to continue without additional restrictions. There's the QR code if you want to participate.
All right, let's take a look at some of your numbers on YouTube. Right now, posted just less than an hour ago, 700 votes. 45% of you say ban the practice. 35% say keep the stops without additional restrictions. And 20% say keep the stops, but make them more targeted.
All right, Dave, can you squeeze a couple of comments here before the break?
Oh, 30 seconds. Let's go, baby. Leroy the Master says, yes, use every legal method to deport 50-plus million people here illegally. Lord Mangoat says, ICE members all should be in jail. That's what they should be doing. Enough of racially profiling U.S. citizens. And someone in Buckeye says, I believe only criminals and Democrats want the ICE agents to be gone. The rest of us want safer streets. Law-abiding citizens have nothing to worry about with ICE agents. Keep the comments coming, guys. Keep watching Fox 10 Talks. We love you.
Nobody covers 30 seconds better than Dave.
That's right. I think he needs a name like Lord Mangoat. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. This is a look at your mystery camera here this morning. We've got some great responses. We've got, let's see, an East Coast says Crazy Train. So he's going to take all of East Coast.
Okay.
We've got,
when you can cover 23 states with one guess.
Why not? We've got Deborah with North Carolina. We have a Paul Humphrey with Vermont, and Linda Montert says Missouri. What do you think, Ron?
Well, I'm just looking at. You know what I'm focused on, Celeste? Just beyond the parking lot. I'm focused on that greenhouse right there, and just looking at the construction. This feels like one of those communities that's been around for a long time. I was thinking Midwest more than East Coast. So.
I'm going to think like in Indiana. What do you think, Ron?
Okay, and she said Missouri. Is that right? Yeah, Linda said Missouri. All right, I'll go Missouri and you'll go Indiana. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. And, Dino's back there.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, here you go. Here is your mystery Dodgeville, Wisconsin.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's Wisconsin, but they got good cheese.
There you go. They sure do. And they're already getting ready for Green Bay Packer football season.
Oh, yes,
up
they
there.
are. Well, the Mexican Wisconsin, if that makes sense, is Oaxaca. They have somebody's talking about quesadillas and Oaxaca, Mexico.
Okay.
And Oaxacan cheese is a very specific type of cheese that melts.
Already sounds good.
That melts in a special way, and they make it's the best quesadillas.
You know what's interesting about that is when it comes to the Detroit style pizza out of Michigan, you're supposed to have Wisconsin cheese on it. So it all comes together full circle, Celeste.
Wisconsin's got a lot of steak in a lot of places.
Yeah, I don't know. I went to a Green Bay Packer game once in my life, but I didn't bring a cheese head because I did think to myself, you're going to block the view of the dude behind you.
That's true. Then you're going to have to buy him a beer.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get on to a few other stories this morning, including, I know we're both a little concerned about this, Celeste, but why are saguaros dying in our summer heat? I mean, they're these videos from our drone team, guys.
Yes.
So good.
Right.
But they do say that the urban heat island might be causing more saguaros to die than usual.
Crazy.
So the cooler nighttime temps aren't as often. When I hopped in my car this morning, Celeste, to drive into work, and I saw it was like 95 degrees.
Yeah, very early, 95
so,
still.
that's just part of the monsoon. But the urban heat island, I guess they say, is one of the reasons that this is happening. And we actually chatted with one expert who says these cacti hold their breath during the day when it's the most hot, but then it's hotter at night, and so they're either not opening up their stomata, or they're kind of like, in essence, holding their breath, and in a way, they're suffocating in the heat.
Oh my gosh, how sad!
Right.
Louis Gonzalez. I threw this in the chat before the break, and I said, I love saguaros. We have this story coming up. Louis says this morning, saguaros have been declining for years, and you're absolutely right because we've continued to see some of these hot temperatures. Be Kind Forever says they love saguaros. A lot of people in the chat are saying, we love saguaros. They are what make Arizona unique. That's according to Linda Monterth. And Ron, I know you love the Rim Country. There's a couple of two spots I feel like driving out of the valley where you just have rolling hills and foothills and mountains and saguaros, and one of them is on State Road 87.
The beeline more on the left-hand side of the road, up there, kind of before you get to Sunflower.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's this, and you just have boom, like all these saguaros. It's just beautiful.
And every once in a while, you'll see people who will pull over. You can look at their plate; they're from Wisconsin, or Ohio, or Minnesota, and they're like, "I can't believe I'm seeing this many cacti."
Yeah, and then the other place I think is north of the valley off the I-17. You're north of like Black Canyon City. Yeah. It's like, boom, there's this, it's just so beautiful. And I think Linda's right in the chat. It is what makes Arizona so unique.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, they're just beautiful. So maybe some of this rain, though, is helping them breathe again for a little bit.
So.
A little reprieve from the heat.
Yeah. All right. So, Celeste, when you go to the gym, now, do you work out more at home or at the gym?
As of late, I've been working at home.
Have
working
you?
at home, yeah.
I got to hop in the car, go go to the gym. I need the pounding music. I need the 800 other sweaty people around me.
Well, I was
it motivates.
I think it made me. I was making last night a chicken pesto pasta with protein pasta, and so I had that stuff going while I was working out.
Well, here's the story. Researchers have found that taking a whiff of chocolate right before your workout might improve your performance. They say that the practice, they think part of it is that just smelling the chocolate can maybe curb the hunger. Smelling it instead of eating it.
This would have been the perfect opportunity, Big D, to bring in some chocolate for us.
Yeah, there you go. Except we all know you don't eat chocolate anymore.
I know.
That's been going on for how long?
I don't.
Now, right?
But Dave, what's your favorite type of chocolate, buddy?
This is an open call to anyone who makes chocolate. Just bring us all the chocolate. You don't have to sponsor us. Just bring in the chocolate. We will try it on air.
There you go. So I'm sure Mr. Hershey, whoever this would be, like the great-grandson or daughter that now runs Hershey's, they're probably watching.
Well, and they probably winter here in Arizona. Lots of Pennsylvanians come out here.
Yeah, it's true. All right, let's do this, Celeste, because it is National Hot Dog Day.
Woohoo!
And our TV poll question is kind of a fun one. So which do you go for? Barely touch the grill? Maybe just a quick trip on the grill? Or do you like the classic grill marks?
Okay.
Or give me a good char? Or set that thing on fire?
I think I'm going to go with the give me a good char.
Are you?
Okay. I'm somewhere in between a 3 and a 4, like a 3.5.
Yeah, I said a 3 for sure. But when it comes to putting your toppings on, are you some purists are out there like mustard, yes, ketchup, never. Where are you on all that?
I'm with mostly a mustard and relish.
Oh. Yeah.
Mostly. Throw your ideas in the chat. I'm mostly a mustard and relish.
Okay.
What about you?
I also like ketchup on there.
I love ketchup too.
I mean, I know it's like somehow politically incorrect, but I'm more of a loaded up guy.
We were talking to Brooke at KNIX. She said Barrowboy and Tuck, their producer, both of them say Ixnay on the ketchup.
I know. I don't know if that's like a Chicago thing or if it's an East Coast thing.
Do you like a Chicago dog?
Yes.
I do.
I finally made it to Portillo's a couple of months ago. It was fantastic.
Oh, it's so good.
So let's do this, Celeste. Anytime it's National Hot Dog Day, it gives me an opportunity to roll out my favorite hot dog photo of all time. That day that me and young Mason, who's now 12, but this is him at about 3, and we were at Costco. I think we were waiting for Nene, his grandma.
Yes.
And so I'm like, Mace, let's get a hot dog. Those Costco dogs at $1.50, they're just incredible.
It's the best deal in town. Look at his side eye. Look at you. He's like, I'm here with Pop Pop.
Yeah, that's right. But now here, this is really interesting, Celeste.
Yeah.
The creator of the hot dog is a guy named Charles Feltman, who was from Germany. He arrived in the New York area by the 1850s. He had a pie cart at Coney Island in the 60s, and his problem was customers wanted a hot meal that they could eat while they're walking along the beach, and he's the one who said, instead of serving these Frankfurters on like a paper plate, I'm going to put them in a roll.
What a great
idea.
idea.
In the 1860s.
Brilliant.
And it became an overnight sensation. He developed one of America's largest restaurants. But here's the part of the story that I love. Get this now. Okay, so they say that one of his employees, a guy named Nathan Handworker.
Oh, like Nathan Hot Dogs?
Well, let's find out. Don't jump the gun.
Inquiry minds want to know.
Well, that's today's segment. No, yeah, that's exactly who it is. Nathan, a handworker, said he opened up his own hot dog cart down the road, and he charged 5 cents when Mr. Feltman was charging 10 cents.
Oh, half the price.
And so he got the business, and it all started from that, and eventually it became Nathan's Hot Dogs.
Wow.
He's the guy who left and started his own business.
You know what
now
would
you
be
know
cool?
why it's Nathan's.
That would be really cool to find, like the fifth fifth generation grandchild of like Nathan's hot dogs. Like, find out like what life is like for them. And, do they like hot dogs?
Now
like,
we need the great-grandchildren of Old Man Hershey and of Nathan.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Right here on FTT.
Dave, what is your preferred hot dog? Do you like are you about a 3 or are you more of a charret? And then what about the topping? Do you have an opinion?
I love hot dogs. Nice relish on there. A toasted bun, some ketchup and mustard.
Okay.
I also love trying the different styles of hot dogs where you get different kinds of toppings and all that kind of stuff. I think it's great. I'm a big fan.
Should have somebody in here for Dave, like to try the Sonoran dog, to try the Chicago dog.
We should have thought to bring Portillo's in today.
We should have.
We need more food on FTT. That's what we need to do.
That's what the F stands for.
Keep feeding Dave. All right. So there's one more food-related story here before we go to the break.
Thank goodness.
It is, Dave. You'll be interested in this, too. Pizza Hut is offering some classic menu items in a new value menu. What's going on here? What's happening, Celeste? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so they're calling it's not just like everybody else came out with a value menu, Celeste.
Yeah.
This is their throwback value menu. You can get the one-topping personal pan pizza. Remember you used to go in there and I think it was $3.99 or $4.99?
Is that Pizza Hut?
Did you get your own? Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that pan pizza. And you know what else I miss about Pizza Hut?
Okay.
Is the salad bar. Do you remember that? I was a kid.
Yes.
I was a kid, and we used to go in there that was our Friday night. It was either there or the bowling alley.
Yes,
Did you bowl? Did you ever? Were you on a bowling team?
Actually, I was, Celeste. The first trophy and one of the very few trophies I ever won in my life. Most improved bowler. When you start throwing gutter balls and they're about ready to give up on you.
Back then, they didn't have the bumpers.
No, I know. They weren't invented yet. I was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But by the end of the season, Celeste, I had a few spares and strikes, so they literally had a trophy. Most improved bowler. I was like 9 years old.
I think I remember when those Friday nights at the bowling alley, my goodness, playing Miss Pac-Man.
There you
go.
So
fun. All right. Share your thoughts. Are you guys bowlers?
Right.
Did you spend Friday nights at the bowling alley?
Or do you have hot dog opinions? Up next, the 7 ways to stay safe in our summer heat. Even if you've lived here for a long time, you should know all 7.
All right. We'll be right back.
You know, Celeste, I was just thinking of, oh, by the way, Philadelphia. Look at that. The parking lot's all cleared out from last night's All-Star game.
Yeah.
Coming up a little bit later, we're going to tell you how our D-backs did in the game last night.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah. We're proud of them. Are you proud of them, Ron?
Oh, I love our D-backs so much.
Yeah, so great.
But I was just thinking how one of these national networks has an Ask Dr. Gupta segment.
I think this sounds like a segment we need to have on repeat and maybe even create a graphic.
Yeah. Well, actually, that Dr. Gupta is a very famous guy. We have a guy who's destined for fame because I think you're going to really enjoy this interview. In fact, Dr. Gupta, you come to us from the Mountain View Headache and Spine Institute. Tell us just a little bit about it and the kind of services that you offer people when it comes to helping to relieve their pain.
Well, thank you for having me. I really do appreciate this opportunity. We are Mountain View Headache and Spine Institute. We deal with pain, joint pain, spine pain, musculoskeletal pain. But also we deal with just generalized pain like fibromyalgia or pain from long COVID or pain from migraines and anything related to the headache. It's really head to toe pain.
How do you know when it's time to either to head out to the doctor to see you, to book an appointment, or maybe it's just a little bit of a pain here and there? How do you know when to seek a doctor's help?
Well, it all depends. Pain is very individualized. Some people can live with pain for years and not tell anybody and say that I'm fine with this. Other people, after a few days, say I need someone to take a look at it. So there isn't really a great answer. What I would say is, if you think you need to see me, come and see me.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I was at the Safeway checkout stand the other day.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the lady. I don't know how we got in this conversation, but I'm totally opposed to the self-checkouts. Right.
Yeah.
I've brought this up before. I like talking to somebody when I'm checking out. And she was talking about how she was dealing with long-term pain. And I do think it's maybe a little more common than people would think.
The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid have actually defined chronic pain as a disease.
Oh.
Just like heart disease or diabetes. So pain, we have to stop thinking of it as just a symptom. There are actual mechanisms in which patients will be in chronic pain, and it's not coming from a single source, that as long as you fix that source, the pain is gone.
So let me ask you this. Emperor Ivan says, my back needs to be fixed. So far, no drug has solved my pain. When somebody comes to you and they say, I have back pain, what's the first thing that you do?
The first thing I do is I say, have you done any physical therapy? Do you have an MRI? Let's start there. If you've done physical therapy for 4 to 6 weeks, and you have an MRI that shows that certain discs are herniated, or maybe there's a slip disc, or there might be a microfracture of some sort, well, now we can do targeted injections there. And those injections can be with steroids, they can be with platelet-rich plasma, they can be with stem cells, and a lot of times that may be all you need to get rid of back pain.
Well, you're knowledgeable on a lot of different topics. Today we want to talk about our summer heat. And so you've come to us with 7 steps that everybody can employ to make sure that they are staying safe in our kind of drastic summer temps. We already have had some days, in the 110 plus, 112, 114, that kind of thing. Let's go through these, and because some I think people are familiar with, but others maybe not so much. Stay hydrated throughout the day. What about somebody like me, for example? I think about it in the morning, and I try to drink some water, and sometimes, I'll sprinkle in some sort of electrolytes with it to try to get it maybe taken care of earlier in the day. But you're saying maybe that's not the way to go? You have to try to space it out all day long?
Well, it's funny that you should mention this. I had a colleague who brought to work a water bottle that had different markings on it, and the markings were funny. They said, keep going, don't stop. Just because you had breakfast doesn't mean you just don't need any more water. Okay, it's lunchtime, keep drinking. And I thought it was the best thing ever because it shows how we really do need to stay hydrated throughout the day. Okay. And what I encourage everybody, at least in this heat, is bring your water bottle with you. And every time you have a few moments, keep drinking. Because that way your body will stay replenished throughout the day. Of course, drink in the beginning, but keep drinking throughout.
Is there a good amount over the course of a day that we should actually drink? I mean, you hear people like, I got my gallon.
Yeah.
I mean, is that too much? I mean, what should we know?
I mean, I think that, it's individualized based on body weight. So it's hard to say this amount because we're all different sizes.
Yeah.
But I would say, a full water bottle, a liter, 2 liters, that is a good goal to have. And just drinking water is cheap. It's cheap, it's easy. You can always fill it up in different places. Keep it simple.
Okay.
One of these tips you have on here is one of my favorites. Don't skip meals. What does food have to do with keeping us hydrated?
Well, food adds to your hydration. You'd be surprised how much water is in a lot of the foods we eat. So if you're skipping a meal, you're actually skipping a lot of hydration. Plus, we think of diabetes as like a binary. Do you have it or don't you? There's a lot of people that are in the gray zone. And if you're skipping a meal, maybe your sugar's going down. And if your sugar's going down, then that makes you more irritable, makes you more susceptible to fainting. So if you're actually already dehydrated and now your sugar's low. And also when you're hot and it's dry out, you don't get hungry. So I tell people, eat as if it's a requirement. Don't wait for your hunger to kick in.
Well, and we have literally tens of millions of people who are on these GLPs now, and they might be, some of them might be watching and saying, but I'm just not hungry.
Yeah, and I tell people that if you're on a GLP, your food is your medicine. Just like you would take your diabetes medicine in the morning or twice a day, you have to have your 3 meals. They have to be protein-rich meals. Drink a lot of water if you're on a GLP. That's a big problem. You have to drink water. Because what's happening with GLP, you're not absorbing that food that much because it's sitting in your stomach. Well, if you're drinking water, it's also going to be sitting in your stomach and not being absorbed.
Well, let's do this. Let's go through all 7. So number 1 was stay hydrated through the day. Number 2 is pretty well known. Avoid the hottest part of the day. Do what you can there. And number 3 is don't skip meals. Let's go to 4, 5, 6, and 7. Sleep, you say, is important.
A lot of people think that an element of agility is not sleeping much. That, I only sleep 3 hours a day. Bad idea. Your body needs the sleep to rest itself, to replenish itself, get ready for the next day.
Wow.
Naps? Yes or no? Are you a believer on that?
If you are able to fit in a nap, go for it. Because what it does essentially, because in Europe, people have mandatory naps. If you want to...
I love that. It's called the
Let's hear it for the European Union.
It's called the siesta,
we got that new national nap requirement.
I'm all for that.
But then their nights, they dinner late. They go to sleep later. So my point is, however you want to break it down, make sure you get 8 hours of sleep.
And then know your personal triggers was one of them, because everybody is very unique and different.
Absolutely. I know for myself that I need to have 3 meals. I become very irritable. Different people have different physiologies. A lot of people do intermittent fasting. They don't eat for 12, 14 hours at a time, and they do fine. I could never do that. So know your body, listen to your body.
What about ultra-processed foods? We had a brain doc on yesterday who said these are just bad news. Talked about chips and cookies and donuts and all of those kinds of things. Do you have an opinion on that? Is the crucial part of this to be eating your 3 meals a day and drinking water? Can you have some potato chips? What's the story?
I mean, yes, of course you could have some. But I tell everybody that if you're going to take a GLP, don't then eat potato chips for lunch. You can have some on the side with a nice turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
But, do the easy part if you're going to actually inject yourself with chemicals.
Okay. All right.
If folks want to contact you, how do they find you?
So my website is www.mvhsi.com. Our phone number is 602-767-0007.
Wow, very
By the
knowledgeable.
way, just want to make sure we cover all 7 here. So keep your meds accessible. Common sense there, but especially if you're diabetic, etc. And then don't ignore frequent headaches. Just wrap up with a quick thought on that.
Your body's talking to you. You got to listen. Don't think it's natural. Don't think everybody walking around you is having the same headache. If something's happening, your body's talking to you. Pain is your body talking to you.
Okay.
Listen to it.
All right, Dr. Gupta. Good information.
Excellent. Yeah. No kidding.
Thank you. Thank you so much
great
for
source of information.
Yes.
Come back and see us.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, we do have that pick, by the way, coming in from Philadelphia, and it has to do, Celeste, with despite the fact the National League, which the D-backs are National League.
That's
right.
right.
So I'm always rooting for the National League to win. That did not happen. They got skunked last night. It was 4-0. But some of the stories coming out, this story about Cody Bellinger, the Yankees outfielder, he grew up in Chandler. He knocks in the first 2 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
And it was no looking back. From that point, they had great pitching, and the American League wins.
He's named MVP.
Yes.
Isn't that
Now,
exciting?
You say you know the family, right?
Well, I met his mother. I know his mom, Jennifer. We did a Cool House segment. She's a real estate agent in the East Valley.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went out and I met her, and we just started talking. You know how it is. We start talking about our families and our kids. And she says her son, plays baseball. And I think he might have been with the Dodgers at that time, but he's with the Yankees now. But really great family. And when you think about the East Valley,
yes.
well, really all over the valley, but
right.
there's a few schools in the East Valley where a lot of students have graduated out of high school, and they've done some big time things and made it to the professional leagues.
I really think we're getting to the point here in the Valley with our youth sports that the whole rest of the country should definitely stand up and take notice.
Yeah.
When you have Brock Purdy there at Perry High School just down the road, and here you've got a young man who grew up playing ball right there in Chandler.
Yeah.
And now he's the MVP of the All-Star game.
Yeah, and you got a lot of young ladies who play flag football now who are starting to be recruited by big schools like Nebraska. They now have flag football at the collegiate D1 level.
It's going to get big. I really
women,
believe it.
And it's an Olympic sport for women, and so you have a lot of these young ladies who are saying, I want to play flag football, and so it's a big deal.
Yeah. By the way, how the rest of our D-backs do? Well, we can tell you right now. Corbin Carroll came up to the plate in the 8th inning, but he struck out. I'm sure he was trying to hit the home run ball because he wasn't in the home run derby, which would have been nice. But let's see. We also had Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yes.
He was great on the mound. He was in there for 1 full inning, and it was 1-2-3, as they like to say in the baseball play-by-play world. 3 up, 3 down, 8 pitches. Nobody could touch him last night, so it's all good for the D-backs.
It really is. I think we're related, by the way, Eduardo.
Well, is that right?
I don't know if he knows it.
Line him up for an interview, Celeste, long-lost cousin.
Congratulations to everybody there. And thank you all for watching. Ty and Anita are next, and more with them. Have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow.
All right, welcome on in. It is 11 o'clock. We're going to keep things rolling here on Fox 10 Talks. Nina, you got your earpiece going? You ready to go? Were you tardy today?
I was out live in Mesa, covering a fantastic event. Two local gentlemen dipping into their own pockets to buy school supplies.
I love that
for
story.
200 kids.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of their own money. It's really neat. They grew up in that neighborhood. So we recorded a little something. It'll be on later editions. The giveaways Saturday at 9 a.m. All the info will be there, too, if you want to head out.
All right,
Maybe
cool.
just go support them.
Yeah, right.
You know? Want to talk about weather?
Do I ever?
It's thick. It's thick out there. Like,
the humidity has just become part of who we are now.
yeah.
know, it has.
But also, let me point out, cloudy. When I was there,
the clouds are still hanging around,
which for me made it bearable. Because if it were sunny and thick like that, I might move.
Yeah, well, the storm chances are not going anywhere. So for those that have been loving it, we got more to come.
I know.
We got more to come.
And you said they're already starting to pop
There's
up
already
in
some storms
areas.
out there, yeah. So I thought we'd just get right to it and start with Fox Vision. Those storms are just starting to bubble up, mostly areas north of the valley and just starting to fire west of the valley. We had the really good active storms that moved through Monday evening. Yesterday, as we were expecting, it was fairly down period. There was like a spot shower or two in the West Valley yesterday, but that was about it. And now we're back to potentially more active by later today, tonight. And it looks even more likely by tomorrow, potentially even into Friday, although that's still, we'll have to see how that plays out through Friday. But right now, the storms have started to really fire off over parts of Coconino and northern Yavapai County, where you're seeing a few thunderstorms over like the edge of the Grand Canyon outside of Peach Springs, and then south of Seligman into, like I said, Yavapai. These are in the mountains, so it's like a less developed area right now. But those storms are going to follow this track of moving from northeast down to southwest today. That's the general flow pattern that we're watching, and you can see that's where this little thunderstorm that's south of Wickenburg is also rolling through, just outside of the West Valley, but in more like open land outside of the West Valley as you're going up the 60 there towards Wickenburg. So far, nothing major for the valley. We just have some clouds, as Anita mentioned. It is very humid again, and then the temperature is starting to climb as well. There's a few storms that are firing up over the White Mountains in eastern Arizona. Same thing. They're starting to slide down to the southwest a little bit, and we do see some lightning with those guys too. So already some storms. It's only 11 a.m., which, speaking of, it's 11 a.m., and take a look. Actually, before we get the Futurecast, I want to show this, because the flood watch that was put into place for northern Gila County as well as all of Yavapai County started at 11 a.m. So it just started 2 minutes ago. It lasts through this evening. The concern is flash flooding for washes that may typically be dry, streams, rivers, creeks starting to swell, and then the burn scar areas, which includes the pocket fire burn scar. So yeah, Oak Creek and Sedona need to be definitely on alert of just listening to the weather updates today, because if they get a good heavy thunderstorm over that fire, there may end up being some flood issues for folks in that area. And then it looks like we're gonna have to do this on the fly, because I see that there was a new flood watch that just went out, and I checked 20 minutes ago, and there was, from what I could see, no flood watches. So this just must have gone
That's
in
how
our
quick
system.
they come up.
Well, yeah, the National Weather Service, I expected they were going to start putting these out, but, sometimes it happens when you're on air. So I'm just going to zoom out so that we can take a look at where that new alert is. So, like I said, we'll do this on the fly. This is the cool thing about my machine. We can do that. Why isn't it showing? Let's see.
False alarm.
I know, it just showed up on my other map, so I know what's there. I should have grabbed my phone. I left it over on the desk.
Do you want me to grab it for you?
Want us to grab it?
Sure, if you want to.
Okay. Here he goes, guys.
All right, well, in the meantime, I'll just go back to my other graphic.
He got stuck.
Hold on. I got stuck. I'll be going
got stuck. Now.
Oh, you know what? I know how I can get it.
Okay.
But I appreciate that Ty's also going to go look for my phone.
Where's your phone?
I thought it was on the chair over there. Is it not? Maybe I didn't bring it with me.
I thought you said desk. Maybe you left it on your desk?
I
couldn't find it. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
is it back there in that last desk?
That's okay. I've got it. I've got it. We're good. So here. There we go. Let me just zoom out a little bit. And we will take a look at when this flood watch is in place for. So this is for mostly southern, it looks like, parts of Arizona, but it does include parts of Pinal County as well. There we go. And it is in place for, oh gosh. Well, there we go. Let's look. There. Okay, I'm not surprised. It's for tomorrow, 9 o'clock. So it goes into effect tomorrow afternoon. It lasts till tomorrow evening. That's for southeastern Arizona and then portions of Pinal County that are under that flood watch. For now, Maricopa County is not, it looks like, included in it yet, although we'll wait to see if National Weather Service office in Phoenix decides to end up putting it out. So the National Weather Service in Flagstaff put up the Yavapai and northern Gila County alert, and then the office down in Tucson probably put it out for the area that's shaded in green now that you're seeing in southern Arizona. So we'll just have to see again if National Weather Service in Phoenix decides to go for it, but there's the closer look at where the alert is. Let me see if I can drag it around a little bit.
We should also mention that it is very hard for you to use that without a mouse.
I know, I was going to offer mine.
Well, okay, so I lost my mouse and I just found it, and I should have brought it with.
Here.
I'm doing a lot of things at once, and I should have brought it with. No, I'm good. I'm okay.
Plug her in.
No, I'm okay. Thank you, though. Here we go, because then I'm going to have to reset that one up. But here we go. This is the future cast to show you the storm chances. And what you can see here is that as we go along on the future cast, the model shows those storms mostly in northern Arizona and eastern Arizona, which is where they're starting to fire up already, right through the early afternoon. So this is through 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But then what we're going to have to watch closely is the valley. Because it's been fairly cloudy, we're not going to be heating up quite as much, but we still have a lot of energy already in our atmosphere because we were able to kind of charge the battery yesterday some. Do we have as much as maybe I'd like to see? Not necessarily, but still an okay amount. We've certainly got the moisture, and then the storms, as they start to approach us, may be enough to create the lift we need for some storms later today. So this is at 5 o'clock. Notice the model has some storms mostly along the north edge of the valley, and then starting to hit like east-southeast of the valley, but we can see that there is still some storm chances continuing through the night. So this is through 8, 9 o'clock at night. The model does have it passing into the valley. So this would be the possibility of some gusty winds, maybe some pockets of like isolated flooding or at least heavy rain happening as this passes by. And then things thin out overnight, but then we're going to be back at it tomorrow, guys. So same deal to start in northern Arizona, and then it'll slip into the valley as we head into the later afternoon and evening hours that we will see those storm chances. So again, there's the look at that flood watch, and then we'll just wrap it up with this, which is the future rain totals through Friday. And you can see that most likely is the heaviest rain totals, which is very typical, is going to be areas like north to east of the valley. But the valley itself could see a quarter to a half an inch or even some pockets that are higher than that if we get some of those heavier thunderstorms.
Right.
So
and 97 degrees, you said, Friday.
Yeah, forecast
That's
high in the upper 90s for a couple of days, Friday and Saturday.
All right, you'll be back at noon right here on Fox 10 Talks. We'll have another update for you in just a few minutes.
Okay, what we're watching?
We're going to do what we're reading.
What we're reading.
Yeah.
That's what year this is.
Oh, hold on. I pressed the wrong button.
Don't show the answer.
Here you go. What you're reading.
There we go. Oh, look at that animation. Fantastic. Number one, Nancy Guthrie, Arizona Sheriff, issues a new warning in the case. They're saying there's a QR code out there, and that QR code is asking people for money. Do not give anyone any money. The Sheriff's Department would never ask for any money. If you see that QR code, just give them a call. Let them know where you saw it.
The number 2 most watched and clicked on story on our website right now is this kind of Tempe road rage case. It escalates with a gun, and this is kind of a wild story, so that's number 2.
It is because the person who initially pulled off the gun
had nothing to do with the accident.
Had nothing to do with the accident. Yeah, so a lot of people watching that one. And then tropical depression off Mexico could become a hurricane. We are talking about Pacific Ocean. National Hurricane Center is reporting the system is currently 560 miles east of Baja California. So we've got our monsoons, and they have the hurricanes, a lot going on there.
All right, we're going to keep things rolling. We have our friend Chip Lupo from WalletHub. He is joining us via Zoom this morning. You guys always put out the coolest surveys, and we love kind of digging into the numbers. And this one was all about the best and worst places here in America for folks to be able to recreate, get out and enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, good morning. I appreciate you guys having me on as always. But hey, I invite you all to come out to my home studio here in Columbia, South Carolina for a dose of some real major league humidity.
Oh, yeah, I know. We complain about it here, Chip, but you guys take the cake for sure over there in the South.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, you probably come out here and say, no, it's a dry heat. It's a dry heat.
You can take a shower here, go out, check the mail, and then it's time for another shower.
I know the feeling.
You know, we're not that far behind, though, today. So we have, you guys compared 100 of the largest U.S. cities across 47 key indicators, talking about which one is the friendliest when it comes to recreating. So what are some of those key indicators? Give us, like, the top 3.
Well, we looked at basically 4 overall key dimensions: entertainment and recreational facilities, costs, quality of parks, and weather. And some of the top metrics we look at, of course, are living costs, quality of parks, and, of course, weather. That's a key one. And things such as accessibility of recreational facilities. And the numbers look pretty good for Arizona, particularly in the Metroplex. We have Scottsdale ranking the highest among the Arizona cities at number 7. 7 out of 100 is a good, solid number.
It is a good number. Top 10. Number 1 was Las Vegas. There's a lot to do in Las Vegas. I used to work and live in Las Vegas, and it's not just the Strip, but there's so much hiking, so much Lake Mead. There's a lot going on. New Orleans is number 10, and we're almost in the middle. Scottsdale, Arizona. What about Scottsdale specifically helped it make this list?
Well, obviously Scottsdale has the weather going for it, but it also ranks pretty high in areas such as the quality of parks is right. It's well above average. It's number 1 in the percentage of parkland and in the acres of parkland per 1,000 residents. It also ranks really high in the entertainment and recreation facilities. It's number 1 in food festivals per capita, public and municipal golf courses per capita, and coffee and tea shops per capita.
All right, so on the other token, we've got about 30 seconds left, Chip. I apologize that we're kind of rushing through this, but the worst cities, Durham, North Carolina, Newark, New Jersey, and Jersey City, New Jersey, kind of at the bottom of your list there, unfortunately, right?
Right. Now there's some there's weather issues, particularly in the 2 New Jersey cities.
Yeah.
Traffic congestion is bad, high crime rates, and just not enough funding towards parks and recreation. Now again, I mean, most folks, if they want to do anything, they're just going to hit the tunnels and head for New York City.
Yeah, probably.
Thanks, Chip. We'll talk soon. Always appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, have a good one. Stay dry, I guess, from the humidity.
We're going to try.
All right, bye, Chip.
Take care, guys.
All right, it is now time for our favorite time of the morning. What year was it? Are you ready for it? Put your thinking caps on, everybody, and get ready to put your answer in the chat here this morning. So here it is. Twitter launched what year? Oh my gosh, I am trying to think. I'm going to say, oh gosh, hold on.
I want to say 2007.
That's a good, I'm going to go 2000. I'm going to do 2006. All right.
Folks at home, no cheating.
No cheating.
Please guess, when did Twitter launch if you're on Twitter? Which is now X.
Now it's X, yeah. All right, so let us know what you think. We'll get the answer coming up after the break. Stay with us. Much more. Fox 10 Talks at 11 in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back, you guys. What year was it? Twitter launches, and we've got some guesses in the chat already. Be Kind Forever says 2012. Linda says 2008. We got a 2006. That was my guess as well. We got a 2010 and a 2005.
Correct. So you guessed 2006. I guessed 7.
All right, hold on. Ready?
And the answer is
2006.
Look at you.
That's pretty good. That was a good guess, wasn't it?
Twitter was a big deal when it came out.
It's still, well, never mind. I don't get on anymore.
I don't either. I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram's where it's at.
That is my social media of choice. I have a TikTok. I think I posted once. It's just too much.
Too much.
Too much.
All right, you guys, you're in for a treat. We have a very inspiring young lady from right here in the Valley. In fact, you might be able to see some of her accomplishments on our desk here this morning. So we have Sulem Urbina, who is the coach, and then we have Siana Chavez, 15 years old, just taking the boxing world by storm.
I hear your medals clinking as you're nodding your head. Good for you. Good morning, ladies.
Cool.
Well, tell us your story.
I am 15 years old. I have about 45 fights, and out of those 45 fights, I'm an 8-time national champion.
Hold on, let me write this down.
How old were you when you started fighting?
When I started fighting, I was 11, but when I started boxing, I was 8 years old.
Wait, what's the difference between fighting and boxing?
Well, just training to get ready to compete.
I don't know. You're tough, you know. So we don't see a lot of girls in this sport.
Yeah.
So at 11, what makes you say, I'm getting in the ring, putting those gloves on?
Well, actually, my grandpa, he has a boxing gym, so I was just always around. And then one day we went to go spar somewhere else, and it was actually at their gym, and I was like, oh, I want to try this, and I want to train there. And then I begged my dad, and he called him, and then that's when I started.
That is so cool. Sulem, let's talk about your career, because you were a boxer as well. You retired now, correct?
I did. I retired last year.
But you can probably still kick as well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Look at her guns.
Mine, of course, but...
But talk about kind of the same thing. Anita mentioned that there's not a lot of women in boxing. What was it for you that you found so inspirational, or not, I guess inspirational, but what drew you to the sport?
So I have 4 brothers, 2 older, 2 younger brothers, and my 2 older brothers started boxing, and I always wanted to prove that us women could do everything the men could do, and I wanted to prove that I was tough. And so I just tagged along, and I was the one that stayed with it the longest. And then I met Siana when she showed up at our gym in around, I would say, 2018, 19, I don't remember. I'm bad at math, but
time flies too.
Yeah. And it was just amazing seeing how much women are, developing in the sport, how much it's picking up. And I'm very excited for her future. My husband is her main coach, Andrew Soto. He's been coaching for 20 plus years and gone to many international competitions, such as the Olympics, World Championships, and whatnot. And hopefully she can be his next world champion.
And you mentioned that she's kind of on the trajectory to potentially be in the Olympics, which just boggles my mind. What is that like to know that you could potentially be competing for Team USA in boxing?
It feels great because I know that I worked hard to be where I am, and I know I have so much more work to put in, and I could go so much further.
It's fun putting that work in, though, when you love it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So boxing, yes, it's about strategy, about hitting, about strength, but it's about so much more because it's probably teaching you so much about discipline.
Yeah.
It's teaching you about how far you can go and do things that you never thought you could do.
Yeah, I love making my family proud, and just seeing how proud my dad is of me, and he's always there with me at the gym, making sure I have everything I need, and yeah.
Okay, you can listen. This is a safe space, so you can totally gloat on yourself. When did you realize that you were a bad A? You were like, I am actually really good at this. Was there a moment that kind of clicked?
Definitely when I won nationals, but I'd say whenever I got most outstanding boxer at JOs.
Wow.
When
that is cool.
When your opponents, do you ever step in the ring and see someone who's maybe bigger than you or has a reputation of being extremely tough. What's going through your head when you're getting ready for that?
I feel like I have a really strong mind, but the girls I always fight, they're always like, well, mostly they're taller than me, so I feel like I'm kind of used to it, but I don't let it get to me because I know how hard I train.
Good for you.
That is cool. So she mentioned training. That is a huge part of this. And you were telling me about her training schedule. It is grueling. I mean, she really puts in the work.
Yeah, she gets up early in the morning. She goes for her run. In the evening, she trains 3 to 4 hours in the evening.
Wow.
With my husband, Andrew Soto, and myself sometimes. So I sub in and help out with little things here and there. And she's very dedicated. Boxing's not a seasonal sport. So I tell them it goes year round. They have competition all year. And there's no off time, you know? If you're in, you have to be all in because you can't, I mean, it's not a sport that you play. You can't get hurt, so you have to go 100%.
So how do you balance that? Because you're still going to school. Even if you homeschool, right?
Yeah, I do homeschool.
But you still have to take the time to study, and you still want to be a teenager and a kid.
Yeah. I feel like I stay really ahead, so when there's like days that I'm a little more busy, like I could hold off on the school because I'm already like so much ahead. Like if I really wanted to, like I could graduate early, which that's my goal because my main goal is boxing, and yeah.
She's well on her way, isn't she?
She's a very bright girl. I think whether it's boxing or whether it's school, she does very well in both, and she balances it very well at a young age. I will say that boxing is very demanding, but
physically and mentally, right?
Physically and mentally. Like she said, she's very strong-willed and very strong-minded. So I think that helps a lot with, balancing both lives. And I will say that the dedication that she has is very admirable. She's already at such a young age, 8-time national champion and 2-time best awarded outstanding boxer in the nation. So that says a lot.
You said that she's strong-willed and strong-minded and can balance things well. I feel like we should see more women in the sport then, because that's what women do. No offense, Ty.
It's fine. No,
but you know what I mean? Like it is. It's so challenging and difficult. And if women are watching, if young girls are watching, how do they get into this?
Well, first things first, you should definitely start attending some competitions. See what it's about.
Okay, so just go and watch.
Yeah, go watch. We do have a USA Boxing Arizona page all over Instagram and Facebook where you can stay up to date on competitions that are coming up all over the valley, and go there, see what team likely fits your agenda, and then show up one day and they'll get you right.
Wow.
I love that. How exciting is it for you, Sulem? Because you mentioned that you kind of grew up doing the same thing, but to see other women kind of following in your footsteps and just kicking butt, literally.
It's amazing for me to see where the sport has come up since I started boxing. When I started boxing, I didn't necessarily have anyone there to, help me do my braids. Help me No. Well, yeah, in a sense. I mean, I'm saying all those little things I had to learn on my own. Putting my hair in my headgear, those days that we don't feel our best as women, going through that, speaking to somebody else. I didn't have that. So I tell them, you have the cheat code here. Likely I've been through it. I used to compete international also, and that's where she wants to be, and they have the cheat code right here.
Yeah.
So
I like that cheat code.
Ask away, ask questions, and the sport's only growing and getting better and bigger. So I'm very excited.
Sienna, what's next for you? Because I know you have a big thing coming up. Is it September, right?
September, yes. September for the For You Alexis show, right? Yeah. 2 days, and then after that I'll be fighting in December for nationals.
Wow.
And then what when you win?
Be number one.
You win. Yeah, that's so amazing.
Sulem, tell us about the Invitational, because this is very personal to you, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
So the For You Alexis event is actually in honor of my little brother, Alexis Urbina, who passed away tragically in 2013. Actually, Fox News covered a lot of, his story. And after mourning him and hurting for so long, we've decided to honor him and celebrate his life by doing an event to bring the community together, share awareness and just, keep his name alive and honor him.
And it's open to the public, right?
Yes, it is open to the public. It will be held September 5th and 6th at 1 p.m. at the Wesley Community Center, and we're excited.
He would be so proud.
I'm sure he would. He was a very bright, funny kid that, he would love his name being mentioned.
Do you have a tip for some of the girls who might be watching or listening? How do you get started? What do you need to do?
I'd say find a good team, which I know I have. Sulem is always pushing me in the gym. Like, whenever she sees something, she always calls it out, and that means a lot to me. And find a good coach, which I also have. And there's going to be ups and downs, but keep pushing, and it will all be worth it in the end.
Don't be scared.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
Tough
guys
cookie,
are fantastic,
tough cookie.
right? I know.
Yeah,
All right.
we can't wait to have you back on in December when you win.
Yeah.
September.
No, September
December.
5th. September
hold on. I gotta write these down.
September
Is the
5th
invitational.
Invitational. December is when she goes to the Nationals.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
To win.
To get that number one spot.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna have you back in September. Well, how about just every month leading up
We
to
should
it?
actually, let's go do a workout.
Oh, that'd be fun.
We're going to do a workout
We should
Wednesday.
do it.
That would be good.
Fun. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Look at us.
Thank you guys so much. We
That
love
was
you.
fun.
having us.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a look at some trending stories here this morning, and this one just made me kind of LOL. So listen to this. Chipotle. You know them, you love them. But
I've never
today, you've never, okay, what?
No, I've never been to a Chipotle.
You've never been to a Chipotle?
No, sir.
Wow.
Took me forever to learn how to say it properly. I would call it Chipotle or...
Wow.
One of our producers is back there going, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take you to Chipotle, but listen to this. I thought this was funny because they're opening their very first restaurant in Mexico. So a lot of folks are being like, how are they going to open a Chipotle in Mexico, which is known for having the most delicious cuisine? And this is kind of like the Americanized version.
Well, are they going to call it Chipotle like American Grill instead of Mexican Grill? Because that'll be
Good
more
question.
American food.
Good question. So
You
I did
know?
a little deep dive. Evidently in the 90s, Taco Bell tried to open restaurants in Mexico and they didn't fly. They actually closed.
Didn't do well, huh?
No. So I'm wondering if Chipotle is going to have the same fate. I guess we'll have to see.
We'll sit on that, you guys. Think about it.
All right, real quick for tomorrow, this is what we're looking up. President is addressing the nation in a primetime address. And then we're already starting to see this. These Canadian wildfires are starting to affect portions of the Northeast. We're watching out for that as well. Have a great day.
See you tomorrow.
Hey, everybody. Ron and Annalisa hanging out with you. This is fun.
Hello,
Annalisa, getting to spend some FTT time with you, Fox 10 Talks.
Thanks for having me.
By the way, you're looking at Providence, Rhode Island, and I have to admit, it is a beautiful city, but you wouldn't know it from this particular photo.
Just because look how overcast it looks over there.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like we're kind of showing, out toward the refinery. It's like, but in reality, it is a super cool city. It's only 190,000 people live there, but they have Brown University, an Ivy League school. They have, what was the other thing? They have this thing called the Water Fire, which they have 100 bonfires that burn in the river through downtown with music playing. Now, that sounds fascinating.
I was going to say, that sounds like a good time.
I think so.
Love that.
So, anyway, there you go. Our Dean Fazzini every day popping up a new camera. You have already had a pretty busy day already, I would say. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah?
But so have you. We
Yeah,
both
sure.
work early. Yeah.
We are all hopping around here, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Hey, we got some video that came in a little while ago. We wanted to share it with you about this water rescue. Different places in Arizona get hit differently, but when this monsoon, this latest series of storms blew through here, we didn't really have any major flooding issues, but apparently on Monday night there in Tucson, look at all this that was going on, huh?
I know. Look at that. That car just totally stuck right there.
Whew, wow. Okay, and this is the thing people, I guess, especially if they're maybe new to the desert, they don't really appreciate. You drive into, you think you can get across a wash. I'll bet you when that guy or that lady tried to cross, probably it was not near as deep as it eventually became. But you can get swept away really easily.
Yeah, well, apparently, got stuck in that, and that driver had to stand on the roof and wait to be rescued by the fire crews over there. So always a good reminder not to drive through if it's flooding.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, the man who is the acting attorney general went on the hot seat today on Capitol Hill, and we watched the whole thing. It just wrapped up, I think, only about 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
But we pulled some of the highlights here. He was being really grilled on things from the Epstein file to prosecuting political enemies. Very interesting stuff. So let's bring you some of those highlights.
To clarify, Mr. Blanche, do you believe it is the president's right and duty to order the investigation or prosecution of his perceived enemies? Yes or no?
I can't answer that yes or no. That wasn't the question. And my answer was that as the president of the United States, under Article 2, he's in charge of the Department of Justice. And so my answer reflects that idea, not that he has a right to go after his political enemies.
Well, that is a very quick wrap from Todd Blanche. I thought maybe we were going to have a few more of those highlights. But, I think for the most part, he seemed to kind of get through, I don't know if you want to say unscathed, but at the end, there just really weren't the fireworks that maybe some people were expecting.
Right, especially talking about such hot button issues.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Now, there's another story that we, by the way, Ronnie, if you want to take a look, Jeff was going to cut some Miracle on the Hudson highlights for us. If you guys spot it, if you see that video coming in, everybody remembers the case of the Miracle on the Hudson River, right? I mean, it's incredible to think what Sully Sullenberger did.
Yeah.
But then we just learned this morning that he has been given a medical diagnosis of Alzheimer's.
That's
Pretty
so
sad deal.
Such a sad update. I remember this story when it happened and just all the coverage and just how incredible and heroic his actions were.
And so calm through the whole thing.
So this is really sad. He's 75 now, and I guess he shared with People magazine that it was last year he had trouble recalling some details or had trouble recalling some details within the last year, despite having a photographic memory. And so he actually received this official diagnosis in August of last year.
And we're seeing the plane as it sits right there. Now, what are you thinking if you're on board that aircraft?
Straight shock.
Yes, no. And the thing about it was, as they were eventually rescuing everyone, he was reportedly, even in the staging area afterwards, after they got everybody out of the river and over to a certain staging area, he was kind of walking around with a coffee cup. He made sure, this is like so, I guess, kind of heroic.
Yeah.
He was going to be the last one off. Every single passenger, every single other employee on that aircraft was going to get off, and then he would get off right at the end. The captain otherwise would go down with his ship, kind of a thing. But yeah, it's this particular statement, Annalisa, I thought was really pretty touching. So he, in this interview, he said it is early stage. But it means a name may not come easily to me. I forget a story. I don't sleep as well, he said, but I'm at the beginning of this long journey. Like you pointed out, he's 75 years old. And he also, I thought it was interesting that he has met with doctors, and one of them that he called out specifically, Dr. Gil Rabinovici, has opened my eyes to the prevalence of Alzheimer's. He says it spares no age group. I mean, he's in his 70s. We've all known people like probably in their 70s, maybe even younger, who have had to deal with it. But he said this is something that is the unwanted visitor at the door that impacts millions of people.
So sad. One thing I do want to note on, though, before we head, is that his wife made a point to say the diagnosis has not dimmed his demeanor, his strong demeanor, which is really special, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just knowing the kind of person he is based on these actions, and then just knowing that he still has a good demeanor.
Yes. And he just seemed like the kind of guy you would want being the pilot of your plane, right?
Yeah.
Strong, steady, calm. Yeah, cool guy. Well, we hope that he does as well as he can for as long as he can. Shall we talk hockey?
Let's talk hockey here in the desert.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have Garrett Niederkorn joining us. So there's a thing called the Matt Schott Arizona Hockey Legacy Foundation, and Garrett is a board member there. And, Garrett, here we are in the heat of the summer, and I got to imagine we have a lot of younger hockey players who love the idea of getting into the cold and getting onto the rink. Tell us what you guys are doing.
Well, not just the hockey players, but how about the parents too, right?
Yes.
Probably be sitting in 115 out on a grass field somewhere. So, no, thank you for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. So, Garrett Niederkorn, I'm on the board for the Matt Schott Foundation. And what we do is we try and lower the barrier to entry for kids to participate in the game of ice hockey, right? So one of the things that's typically a financial hurdle for getting out on the ice is that, number one, there's not a whole lot of ice available, so it can be expensive. And all of the equipment that goes into it, right? So you've got skates, stick, helmet, all the pads. Typically, this can cost, $500 for secondhand, upwards of $1,000 for new. And so what the Schott Foundation does is we actually supply 8 sessions of ice and an entire equipment set for registrants to come out and just try the game, right? We've got a bunch of coaches and volunteers that used to work when we had the Arizona Coyotes NHL team here in the market. They've got that past experience. And so their job is to get out there and make sure that these kids have a great time and enjoy being on the ice and learn about the game. But ultimately, our goal is to get as many people out there on the ice as possible.
I love that, helping make hockey more accessible to families here in Arizona. I just want to, you mentioned the Coyotes. Without an NHL team here, what does the future of hockey look like here in our state?
So if we do our job right, it's still looking really strong. So our whole goal is to make sure that this market continues to thrive. When the Coyotes were here, I have a statistic that from 2010 to 2021, the number of USA Hockey registrations, which is essentially the governing body for any player in the state of Arizona, that jumped from 3,000 up to 9,000. Annual registrants over that course of time. So there's no doubting that there's an impact when an NHL team is in the market, that they're going to continue to grow the game and get kids involved. But since they've left, the Shot Foundation didn't miss a beat. The leadership team there knew immediately. They recognized the opportunity, and that if they didn't step in, the whole rink ecosystem amongst the Valley, that was going to suffer. So we put through in the last year over 450 new players and over 650 registrations, so we'll call them, so with continuing players that started our program and continue to sign up for new sessions. So this is right on par with what the Coyotes were doing in the years leading up to their departure. So super proud of the work that our operations team has done. They've been traveling miles and miles to the different rinks all throughout the Valley, hosting over 100 Learn to Play sessions. So they've just done a bang-up job.
Well, we got a couple of minutes left. If parents are watching and they're thinking, I love hockey, I would love to get my daughter involved or son, because I know that girls hockey and women's hockey is just exploding in popularity. What would be the first steps they should take to start to go down that road?
Yeah, it's a quick Google search of Shots Tots or Little Layton. So those are both programs that are run by the same operations group. Our website is ArizonaHockeyLegacy.com, and so you can find all of our information there. But we're running programming throughout the calendar year. So just log onto the website, and you'll have all the information there that you need in order to locate where the closest rink is to you, and when the next sessions are going to be held.
And you've got rinks really that they can access kind of all over town, yeah?
Yeah, all the way from Flagstaff to Tucson, and then in the Phoenix Metro, you're all over the Valley. And there's even a new rink that's opening up off the I-17 called Fire and Ice. And so it was a huge development project. I think $150 million to put in two new sheets and a big campus. So I would say hockey is growing, and I would say there's more and more opportunity for people to get involved. And like I said, if we do our job, then the rest of the nation's going to take notice.
That's great.
right.
All right, Garrett. Motivating.
And just moving here, I'm quickly learning how great it is to have an indoor sport.
Yes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Hey, time for a break. That was Garrett Niederkorn, by the way, with the Matt Schott, Arizona Hockey Legacy Foundation. Up next, we've got some great stuff for you, including how AI should teach but not tell your kids. But first, it's Mystery Cam time. Hey, everybody, Ron and Annalisa. And, we've been watching the fishermen come and go from this sleepy little port somewhere along the river with a couple of palm trees there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Annalisa? Where in the world would this be?
My guess is somewhere in Florida.
Okay. And I am thinking maybe in the Carolinas somewhere.
Okay.
Obviously, it's probably close to the ocean.
Right.
Big river like that. Now, watch this be wrong. It'll be like along the Mississippi River in Mississippi. But
We have no guests in our chat. No guesses in our chat right now.
oh yeah,
We're the
you
only
guys.
two guessers.
Come on, if
Okay.
you want to join the convo.
There you go. Linda says
Sure enough.
Mississippi.
She's like, as a matter of fact, it is the
I
state
think
of
you're right.
Mississippi. So yeah. Anyway.
Can I open it?
So your guess is Florida.
Yes.
And I'm going to go north, or I'll go South Carolina. We're watching this fisherman. He just pulled in. He's about to pull right back out. So, okay, let's do it.
All right. Drum roll, please. Port Neches, Texas.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, we had another guess for Louisiana, but I wouldn't have guessed Texas.
No, I don't think I would have either. But sure enough, they're right there on the Gulf. That would
Yeah.
make sense. You see that bridge way off in the distance there? Seems like a pretty easygoing life.
I know.
They're moving at a pretty slow pace
And
there.
look at those clouds. I know they're getting some rain in Texas, but they got a little bit of a gray day over there.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see the radar map over Texas? Was that last night or this morning? I mean, they were just getting drenched.
Yeah, I think they're seeing a lot of rain right now. We'll have to bring Crystal in because they're seeing a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's bring in Ashish Bansal, who is the founder and the CEO of something called StarSpark.ai. It's the timing on this, Annalise, is great because even though for most of the country it's not already back to school time, it is today.
Yep.
Here in the Valley, in Chandler, and then Queen Creek and many other districts over the next few days, we start early out here in our summertime.
Yeah, a little bit of a modified schedule over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is really fascinating. And, you think about what you did in school and just how quickly technology is changing for these kids in school.
Sure.
So thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. Tell us a little bit about how AI should be used in schools right now.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me on your show and giving me a chance to speak to your viewers. AI is a transformational technology for sure. And I think a good frame of reference for us would be to think about calculators maybe a few decades ago. So there was a lot of questions around, hey, should we use calculators for math, and does that devolve mathematical ability? I think similar questions are being used for AI. Used correctly, I think AI can really, really help every student and bring equitable access to education for everybody. Used incorrectly, it can actually reduce cognitive function.
Well, I think right from the start, the worry was that students were whether it's in fourth grade or all the way up through college, would just use AI to write their papers. That is a legitimate concern, right?
That is definitely a legitimate concern. And I think it's a good question on what is our purpose of homework versus a test. So if you're giving homework and you are grading homework, then the students have an incentive to try and cheat and get marks on the homework. And I think some focus has to be taken from educators on what is really the purpose of homework. Is it learning or is it assessment? And as far as exams or tests are concerned, if you are taking a test in the classroom, then it's really hard for you to use one of these cheating tools. So that's sort of the gap. And one of my friends said that we are in the age of very high scores in homework and very low scores in tests.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. One thing that I think about a lot is critical thinking and how that can still be supported in learning. So what is kind of the danger or challenge there in making sure that kids learn how to think critically, but also supporting AI use?
Absolutely. And I think one of the challenges that I find in my work is a lot of people's perceptions of AI is built based on their interactions with tools that were built for productivity. The common AI chatbots that you interact with on a daily basis were built for professionals and to help them get more productive at their jobs. There is an underlying assumption that the professional knows their topic, and when the AI spits out an answer, they have the ability to have some judgment on whether this answer was correct or incorrect. And we have just taken those general purpose engagement driven tools and just applied them at AI. I think that is the biggest issue that we face. At StarSpark, our focus is building purpose built systems for education. So our AI tutors teach, they don't tell. So if the student says, just give me the answer, we will give them a hint. And there is, in learning science, there is this idea of productive struggle. What it says is you need to struggle a little bit through the answer to get to your, to have retention, but it must be productive. It must not be such a big mountain for you to climb that you give up. So that balance between the struggle being productive is really important. And that's what we pride ourselves in the purpose-built AI tutors at StarSpark.
Well, and you say the best AI kind of adapts over time to each student. Is that already happening?
That if the system is purpose built for that, yes, it is happening, because we also need to consider grade alignment. Let's say that you have a grade 5 student write an essay and a grade 7 student write an essay. There is obviously a difference between these two. But when we talk about general purpose AI tools, if you ask them a question, they're just going to spit out an answer. They don't care about whether it's a grade 5 or a grade 7 student. They're going to give you a PhD level answer for everything because they just know so much. So grade alignment is very important. I think I'll take an example from math. If you are solving an equation, there are many ways to solve an equation. And if you look at pedagogy, it says that the way we solve something in grade 6 is different than 7, is different than 8, because we progressively teach more and more complicated methods. What AI does, which is not purpose-built, general purpose AI, which just give you the last or the most advanced method, but that does not help with the critical thinking, with developing. And the fact that a lot of people think, math has one right way. But in life and in math, there are usually many different ways to get to an outcome. The trick is figuring out what is the most optimal way. That is the critical thinking skill we want to develop. Hence, we want to make sure pedagogy is solid when we are building AI tutors.
All right. Well, one last question for you here. Let's say there's a student out there or a parent of a student who's watching right now, and that student then does everything right, doesn't cheat, uses AI as a resource only, and then they get to graduation and they find out that the jobs that they hope they would have 5 years from now or 10 years from now have been replaced by AI. How do we make sure that doesn't happen so there's still a bright future for the next generation?
That is a very, very timely and important question, Ron. And I've worked at very large AI firms like Google and Amazon and a bunch of others. I've seen AI being built very closely. I would say that there is a distinction between why, what, and how. The how is where the AI is making great strides, but it still needs a purpose. Like AI is not building websites for itself. AI is not writing research papers for itself. It needs human direction. And I think we should be in the driver's seat. I would urge those students to develop their critical thinking, think about the why and the what, and use AI just like tools. I would say that humans have always built tools that help them do things faster. Tractors are a great example. They help you till land. We wouldn't want to do it with cattle anymore, right? So think of AI like that, but have a clear purpose of what you want to do and why you want to do it. That does not change.
All right. That's StarSpark CEO Ashish Bansal. Thank you, Ashish, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, here is what is so interesting about all of this, Annalisa. This lawsuit that's going on, and you and I were talking about this a while ago. I just wonder if we're going to see, I don't know if there's a good legal argument for it, but will we see more and more lawsuits if people are losing their jobs to AI?
Yeah, so this is about some Meta employees, a little more than 24 who were fired and then filed a lawsuit against their former employer, Meta, basically accusing the company of using AI software to decide who to fire.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Now, the company says we didn't do that. There were human beings involved in every decision. Let me see the number, 26 employees in all. They said that Meta used AI-powered software to choose who to let go. The company says, no, people made these decisions, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are programs out there like this. And we'll follow this. It's fascinating. It's one of the earliest lawsuits in this new age of AI, but it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're, like you said, jobs can be taken by AI.
Yeah, it's happening.
I know someone at my last station who had just graduated as a graphic design student.
Okay.
But then, there's not a lot of creations department sometimes because some companies will use AI. So
Right.
it's something they're facing, and I'm curious to see if we'll see more of this.
Okay. Hey, hope you have all been enjoying all these games on Fox. Not just the All-Star game last night, but of course all of the World Cup games. And we're getting ready for the big match coming up, England versus Argentina. Apparently there's no love lost with these two nations, going all the way back to the Falklands War back in the 1980s. But that'll be, of course, coming up on Fox. But what about this survey? We'll close with this, Annalisa. Somebody did a survey, Talker Research, on whether or not you think you could actually successfully hit a penalty kick. And the numbers, Gen Z said, 40% of them. Oh, yeah, I could do it. I could hit a penalty kick.
Again, and is there a professional goalie?
There's a goalie in the net. That's like almost half of Gen Zers. Absolutely, I could do it, I wonder. But baby boomers, maybe a little more practical. What was that number?
12% of boomers.
12% of boomers like, I don't know.
I feel like this really translates to so many differences between the generations, which is why it is so funny to me.
Yeah.
What do you think? Could you?
I would love to give it a try. I mean, I'm at the gym every day trying to be able to keep moving.
There you go.
My grandkids are actually getting better with their soccer skills.
Nice.
So.
Maybe they could.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, well, hey, guess what? Ty and Anita are next, and I also see Crystal. It's all coming up.
Welcome on in to another special edition of Fox 10 Talks at noon. We're going to keep things rolling with a very busy show.
I'm going to talk like this because I just had lunch and apparently I didn't have time to brush my teeth after. My apologies.
And what did you have for lunch? Why don't you share to the masses?
The tuna because it's high protein and it's quick and easy in the little pouch.
Well,
I know you don't like it, so I eat it away from you.
Oh, boy. All right, let's get into some headlines we are following for you on this Wednesday. Of course, on Capitol Hill, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche taking center stage today during his Senate confirmation hearing.
Blanche telling lawmakers he is working to keep America safe, to restore trust in the justice system. President's former personal attorney has been leading the department on an interim basis since April after Pam Bondi left the role amid backlash over the release of the Epstein files.
So we have just a little portion of what came out of that earlier today. Take a listen.
Remember, for 4 years, there wasn't a peep about Jeffrey Epstein. The Biden administration did nothing to be transparent about the Epstein case. We have been extraordinarily transparent in not only producing the records, but letting unredacted versions be available to anybody in this body. And if, after reviewing unredacted materials, a member had concerns about why something was redacted, they brought them to the department's attention, and we addressed that.
Please stand at this point and
highlighted as well, highlighted the administration's efforts to fight crime, stop illegal drugs, target cartels, and crack down on fraud. We'll have more from that hearing and later editions of Fox 10 News.
All right, our other big story here we are following, obviously we live in Arizona. We are always out in the sun. It is a present here in Arizona.
One or the other.
Yeah, it's like a president, isn't it? So we are speaking with Dr. Alexander Skulich. He is the director of dermatology at the City of Hope, Phoenix, about how to keep us all safe.
Hi, doctor.
Hello.
Yeah, I feel like when you live in Arizona that at least annual, if not biannual, check of the skin is, absolutely essential and life-saving.
Yeah, and actually it depends, like anything in life, the answer is always depends. If you are somebody who has a naturally light skin and you've had a lot of sun exposure, and especially if you've had any skin cancers yourself or somebody in your family, that makes it more important to be seen more frequently. But really what is, I think, the most important is that people look at their own skin. Once a month is probably sufficient, but checking your own skin, checking for any changes, any new spots, that's really the most critical aspect.
So what are we looking for? You mentioned kind of just looking for something abnormal, or if maybe a mole has grown or something like that. What are some of the other things that folks should be looking out for?
Yeah, that's a great question, because typically people say, well, do I have any moles? Do I have melanoma, right? Melanoma is only one of skin cancers, and it's usually pigmented, brown, black, has pigment to it. So looking at any and all the pigmented spots that you may have on your body is important. If they are changing in any way, getting bigger, getting smaller, or starting to bleed spontaneously, any of that may be a warning sign, anything that stands out. But there are other more common skin cancers as well, and those may not be pigmented. So any new spot that develops that looks like a little pimple or a little scaly spot that just does not go away, even if you're moisturizing it regularly, probably should be looked at.
Well, I know a lot of people, I'm sure you do as well, Ty, who head to the dermatologist and they have to have moles removed. The derm will usually do it right there in office, doesn't leave much of a mark, but that's because they're a little bit prone to it. Dermatologists will look at it. Should you be having those removed? I've heard some people say don't touch it unless we do know it's cancerous.
Yeah, another great question. So we typically do not recommend just removal of the moles for the sake of removal. The reason why dermatologists will biopsy, and call that a biopsy procedure, we take the mole out, is because when in doubt, take it out. In other words, when I look at a patient and I see the patient has, 50 different moles, but one of them looks different, it stands out, it's an ugly duckling, if you will. I cannot rule out just by looking at it that there is no melanoma in there. So in that scenario, a dermatologist will recommend to take a biopsy, take that mole out, have it looked at under microscope to determine is there melanoma or not.
Doctor, can we talk about sunscreens? Because I went to the drugstore the other day It's overwhelming how many different sunscreens there are. And then not only that, then what SPF do I need? From 5 to a million, it seems. So like, what should folks be looking at when it comes to sunscreen? And should we have a different sunscreen for our body than our face and vice versa?
And how much are we putting on? Realistically, I mean, people say like a cup. That's a lot.
Yeah. A cup would be a lot. You'd be swimming in it. But I think before I answer the question about the sunscreen, I will tell you that sunscreen is only the third layer of defense. The first level of defense is be in the shade when you can. You know, if you can pick between the shade and the sun, sit in the shade. The second level of defense is really physical protection. If you can have a hat on, if you can have long sleeves with a material that, reflects the sun and keeps your skin cool, it's much better even than sunscreen itself. Anything that's not covered, that's the area where we use the sunscreen. And to really make it simple, the higher the SPF, the better. You will not go wrong if you use higher SPF. It just gives you more of a buffer, more protection, right? How much to put on? You should be putting it on probably at least 10-15 minutes before you're outside. And you should be putting enough that it takes you a couple of minutes to rub it in fully. If you just go with your hand over your skin and there's nothing to see there, that's probably not sufficient amount. And the last point is no sunscreen lasts forever. So usually about an hour and a half, max 2 hours, you should reapply.
Okay.
So even if the kids are in and out of the pool, 2 hours is pretty much it, if they're maybe even sooner.
Excellent point. And that brings another point. Not every sunscreen is equally good when you are going in and out of the pool. There are sunscreens that are by the FDA mandated to display sweat and water resistant, and that can be up to 80 minutes. If the sunscreen is not water resistant, it's not formulated to be water resistant, you can go in the water, you can go out of the water, you have no sunscreen on anymore. Right, so that's a big difference.
Can I ask you about like the creams versus the sprays? Is one better than the other, or are they both going to offer about the same protection?
I think it depends more on how you apply it. When you think about how you paint a car, there's a technique to it. So same with your sunscreen. Depends where you point that spray, how much actually ends up on your skin versus in the air. Gotcha. And definitely, you don't want to be inhaling all of that. Usually, even if you apply the spray as opposed to cream, you should probably still rub it in just to make sure that it's really spread.
One last quick question, if you don't mind. Vitamin D is good for us. How much? When should we go outside to just get a little bit of that regular sunshine?
Yeah, that is a great question and a big point of debate everywhere on social media. I will preface it by saying you can get all the vitamin D that you need through your intake of food without having any sunshine, right? Sun does naturally increase vitamin D production in our body, but it's always a balance. If you are a very fair complected person, very fair skinned person that has high risk of sustaining a lot of damage from the sun, from ultraviolet light, then, that should be minimized. If you are more darker skinned, and when we talk about dark, we talk about anywhere from, somebody who comes from Iceland to somebody who comes from Nigeria, for example, right? So it's a big spectrum. Darker skin is more resilient and can sustain more. But the bottom line is you really don't need ultraviolet light and sun exposure if you have adequate oral intake.
Thank you, doctor. We really appreciate your expertise. We hope to have you on again soon.
Thank you. Anytime.
Thank you. Speaking of the sun, Crystal's joining us to talk about how hot it is getting, because definitely see those UV rays coming out and it's just getting hotter and hotter.
And then we've got the humidity, and then we've got the storms that have already started to pop up. So actually, we're going to start with the high country, because this is a camera shot from, we're looking towards East Flagstaff, Twin Arrows Casino Cam here that we are looking at. And look at all the clouds that are hanging overhead up there in the high country. Storms have already fired off. In fact, if you look off in the distance, like in this general area, there's some rain coming down out that way. So already we are seeing the rain that's moving on through. Let's take a look at radar.
How'd you draw that? Oh, that's cool.
It's magic.
Wow.
She's the magic weather queen, expert lady, expert forecaster, meteorologist.
Do you want me to draw some more on this one too?
What was what was the title they gave you when I was gone last week?
Queen weather expert, I think.
Your Majesty.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, Crystal, the weather master.
Oh, master. That's what it was. Wow.
I like Queen.
Add more to it each day. Well, only nice things, though.
Queen, Weather, Master, Majesty.
Okay, so here's the look on Fox Vision of the storms that are firing off. And here just for you, Ty. So we're looking at the White Mountains area's got a nice little cluster of storms. We've got an area of storms that's kind of over like Mojave, Yavapai. And then we've got this little area just starting to fire off here over like Flagstaff down, kind of approaching the Mogollon Rim. And what we're expecting is going to happen is while they'll hang out in the high country at least for a few more hours, they are going to start to collapse to the southeast. Or southwest, I should say. So as that happens, Ty wants me to draw the arrow.
Please.
Here you go.
Okay,
this
right
is the
through
way
Phoenix.
they're
That's what
going.
we're hoping
or this
for.
way.
So like right directly through potentially the metro
Well, let's
area?
not get too
Okay.
excited.
Oh, sorry.
We've got a lot of mountains and terrain to get over, and that does tend to like shear them apart or kind of make them sometimes bubble around the valley. But the expectation is there's the potential for at least some of them to make it in. The way it's kind of akin to is we've got like a lot of gasoline all over the valley. We just need a match to get to the valley. Otherwise, it's just gasoline. There's nothing going on. We got all the moisture. We got some energy. But if we don't get an outflow of a storm, if we don't get a couple storms that slice right into the valley, then it's not going to trigger, the clusters that move through like we saw on Monday night. So there is the potential, but it's certainly not a guarantee. We're at like a 30-40% chance. The better chance will be along the edge of the valley. But again, we could certainly see some of them fire up right through the valley as well. So let's take a tour of those storms that I just pointed out. There's the cluster of thunderstorms. Lots of lightning along I-40. Around like Peach Springs, Seligman, and just outside of Kingman. And then we've got now some storms with lightning firing up along the Mogollon Rim, parallel to the 17. If any of these start to move over the pocket fire, there is a concern that could trigger some flooding issues. So just a heads up, because that's just north of Sedona. There's a few storm cells that are moving along just west of Flag, but those are pulling off of the San Francisco peak, so they're not like right in Flagstaff proper, like the downtown area yet. And then there was a shower with some lightning, so a thunderstorm that moved by along like the 60 outside of Wickenburg. That has kind of fallen apart as it's moved into more open land in Maricopa County, like the west edge of Maricopa County. But we are watching because those storms are out there. And then finally, there's those thunderstorms. Again, good deal of lightning over the White Mountains. They've had storms every single day about this time for the last, 5 days or so. So because it's already been quite a few days of rain in the high country and the potential is for heavier rain pockets these next few days, there's a flood watch that's now in place. It started at 11 a.m. It lasts through this evening for Yavapai County as well as northern Gila County. And then there's another flood watch that's in place. They just put this one out for Pinal County and southeastern Arizona. This is for basically all day Thursday through the night into early Friday morning for Pinal County. So here's the futurecast for today. The storms just in the higher elevations to start through the early afternoon. And then watch this model. So there you go. That's 5. The model does have a thunderstorm starting to approach the valley there. And then notice how it has an additional storm potential kind of through this 7 to 10 o'clock range. Now, if we don't get the outflows to trigger these, we wouldn't tap into it. But the potential is there for these thunderstorms as we uptick to about a 40% chance for storms. They thin overnight. We are quiet to start tomorrow morning, although some shower activity is possible. But then in the afternoon tomorrow, we've got some real deep moisture moving through. So again, we could start to see some thunderstorms moving into the valley by tomorrow afternoon.
Let's
as well,
hope.
guys. So.
That's great. Wow. We'll be right back, everyone. Quick break. Welcome back in, everyone. 12:15. We are talking about home prices.
Yeah, so listen to this. A new report shows asking prices are falling at their fastest pace since 2017. So why is that? And is this good news for folks that are maybe hoping to tap into the real estate market? We have an expert here joining us this morning. We have Stacy Miller, RE/MAX Fine Properties Realtor. Good morning, Stacy.
Hi.
Or afternoon, Stacy.
Afternoon. So we have home prices and mortgage prices. Home prices lower, mortgage prices still higher, but that helps.
That helps.
Nice
yeah.
and close for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
So
you.
that does help. Yes. It's kind of nice to see a shift in for the buyers. That is a shift in it being a seller's market versus a buyer's market. So that's a good benefit for a lot of buyers out there, and a lot are taking advantage of that.
Let's talk about during the pandemic. It was like houses here in Arizona were going
Pandemonium.
like gangbusters.
Right.
And it kind of tapered off, especially those prices, because people were just outbidding each other. It was so hard to even get a house because you would be outbid by outrageous prices. People like 100,000 over asking.
But also, a lot of people were moving in from places like California, where
Right.
for $1 million you got a box.
Yeah.
And then here you got a beautiful home.
Exactly. And we still do have those California buyers, Oregon, Washington. Those are bringing a lot of buyers here because of the home prices. But also, you think companies like Intel, TSMC, those are so we've got job security. Then you look at our the weather. We don't really have any major natural disasters besides heat.
Yes.
And that's manageable sometimes. So that's all good things. Yes. And during the pandemic, it was just outrageous. Some of the offers that we're getting, outbid. So we're starting to see a lot of those sellers come back in the market, or those homeowners come back in the market to sell their homes now.
And are they getting what they paid?
No.
No.
Some, I'd say 50-50. They've got to be smart. They've got to be really strategic on how they position their house and what they're offering to the buyer and the product that they're giving to the buyer, because buyers are able to be very picky. And take their time and really slow down and make the right choice.
So let's start. Can we start with sellers? You
Well,
mentioned.
do you mind?
Sure, of course.
Sorry, but what is the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market for those who may not know?
So great question. So during the pandemic, we had approximately 3,500 listings on the market, fully a seller's market. Right now we have approximately 26,000 listings on the market. So that's a big difference. Now, an even buyer to seller's market is going to be about 7,000 to 8,000 listings on the market.
So the more listings you have, that's better for
the
buyers.
Correct.
Right. And the fewer you have, it's better for the sellers.
Correct.
You can bargain. There's more out there. People want to sell.
Right. Okay. That's right.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. I was just going to ask you, because you mentioned something and I wanted to kind of go through both of them. You said right now sellers are kind of having to, I guess, up the ante to attract those buyers. So what are those things that folks need to do if they are a seller right now to kind of attract those buyers?
Really good question. So really be patient. That's the biggest thing.
Oh, that's the worst.
Patient. It
You're
is, isn't
talking
it?
to one of the most impatient people on the planet.
Completely get it. Yes. So
I
be
can attest.
patient. The buyer will come, but give them a good product. Make sure that your paint looks good. Make sure your landscaping is on point. Make sure your carpets and the house smells really good, because that's going to be that first impression. But then I've got some sellers that are opting to go ahead and have the home inspected and fix those repairs. And now they know that even when the buyer does their inspection, there's not a whole lot there.
What about concessions? I think I saw someone post about how they were able to get into the closing with no fees. They had the seller pay down, and so that the mortgage was a little lower. I mean, that sounds like a lot to do. To just sell your house.
It can be, but you got to remember that these are sellers here in Arizona and Phoenix specifically are in direct competition with a lot of new home builds.
Yeah.
And those home builders are offering those things. So again, being strategic in how you're placing everything is a great idea. So I would say getting concessions from the buyer is going to help, or from the seller is going to help you pay for closing costs, buy down your interest rate, and even possibly do some upgrades after close of escrow.
I have someone in the chat asking a question for you. What about buyers who are buying to make a short-term rental? I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to, but are there different things you should be looking out for?
Mostly the HOA.
Yeah, because HOAs could really...
Yeah.
That can get you.
They can get you, yeah.
They can creep the prices up and you don't even realize what's happening.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that and a lot of them are saying 30-day minimum or even 3-month minimum. And there's even several that are jumping on board and saying no short-term rentals at all.
Are there still areas in town where it really is it would be a seller's market? Because we talk about it. People are sending text messages saying, your neighborhood's hot. Would you take this for, like, they're coming to you.
Right.
And you know that there's still areas. Do you still see that?
Yeah, I still see it. I get them all the time too. And I'm, thinking, well, I'm a realtor. I'm not going to sell to you.
Well, they're probably spam, but
right.
But it puts it in your head.
Right. It makes you start thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when you get those messages and you get that idea that maybe it might be, call your realtor. Call a realtor and find out your exact numbers what your home could sell on the market today.
That's what the other question I wanted to ask you is, like, sometimes I've sold a couple homes and you have an idea of what you want to get.
Right.
And then my real estate agent came in and was like, well, let's be realistic,
you're
Ty.
humbled.
And I was like, how dare you?
Right.
This is not worth $30 million.
No.
So how hard is that for you as a real estate agent to be like, well, let's look at comps.
Right.
Let's look at your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then to kind of be realistic.
But do comps even matter? Because we're in an older neighborhood,
right,
where we have a $500,000 house, and I'm not kidding you. They're knocking these houses down because of big lots. They're building $5 million homes.
I hear you. I know exactly the area you're talking about.
Right?
But you're right.
How do you find a comp for something like that?
So something like that might be very specific, and if you as the seller or the realtor are kind of in competition, or like our numbers are not jiving, that might be a great idea to get an appraisal. An appraiser is going to actually look at oranges and apples for apples. He may go outside of your standard area to find a comp that would work for your house in that case. So that might be a good opportunity to get an appraiser.
How much does that cost these days?
Appraisals are anywhere from $500 to maybe $1,500, but the $1,500 is more going to be your high end.
A good marketing tool too.
Right.
We can just say, look, I got
Yeah.
it appraised. It's worth the 3.5 mil.
Exactly. Exactly.
How do people get a hold of you?
You can find me at stacymiller.remax.com.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks for coming
Good
in.
info.
Some good
Great
insight.
info.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I love to get on Zillow. I'm like one of those
me
Zillow
too.
creepers. I can spend hours on Zillow.
I have a feeling you're going to say don't go on Zillow to compare
Don't
prices.
go on Zillow.
I know
Just
that.
call me.
I know. all the experts.
I know.
Okay, well, from Arizona to New York,
Yeah.
You think that our prices are high. Rent prices in New York are soaring. New reports of some rents in Manhattan are reaching a monthly rate more than $5,000.
That is wild. All right.
$5,000.
Take a look at this.
It's upsetting. I'm a teacher and I teach your friends, and it's hard to afford living, and especially if you're single, on the salary and the rentals.
New York City renters already know it.
It's really high, yeah, and it's probably going to go up, but it's worth it.
The cost of living in Manhattan is rising, especially when it comes to paying rent.
I can't really shop, groceries in my neighborhood. I have to make sure, I budget really well just to kind of make, match my monthly expenses.
New York City's comptroller even posting on social media, quote, "We need bold action. This is a crisis." Renters we spoke to agree.
Do you think the rent is too high in New York City, especially Manhattan and Brooklyn?
100%.
New data from the Corcoran Group shows renters paid a median of $5,295 in June for a one-bedroom and just over $4,000 for a studio in Manhattan. Rents in some popular neighborhoods in Brooklyn also spiking to record highs.
The rental market right now is on fire because there's not enough supply. And when you have a tightening of supply and you have now this rent freeze, it's only going to make it more difficult and more expensive.
Douglas Elliman realtor Francis Katzen says after the Rent Control Board passed a rent freeze on the city's 1 million plus rent stabilized apartments, it added costs to building owners. The result, she says, in some cases, landlords passed it on to tenants who pay fair market value. She says some renters have started to look for new ways to save.
I think roommates have become a new good idea, or the partner that you swore you'd never move in with. Maybe now's the time to consider that possibility.
So what are renters to do? Well, realtors tell me renters need to be patient until the supply here increases. You can expect those rents to remain high. On the Upper East Side, Sharon Crowley, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, we
She's on the Upper East Side, which is also like the most expensive place in all of Manhattan.
But also be patient. Where are you supposed to live while you're being patient and you can't afford the rent?
These are questions
because you can
I don't
only
have the answer
commute
to.
so much.
That is true.
It's National Hot Dog Day. Crystal's back.
Oh, hold on.
Put up that
There
poll.
she is.
Put up that beautiful
This
poll
is our
question.
poll question today. It is National Hot Dog Day, so which one are you picking? Barely touched the chars, quick trip on the grill. I thought they were talking about like the actual quick
We did
trip.
too.
And then the classic grill marks, give me a char or set it on fire. And right now, 48% of you say you like it a little crispy. Crystal?
I like to do a number 4. Like pretty brown, like pretty charred, but not full on burn.
Okay.
If you ate hot dogs, Ty?
I think I like the aesthetic, pleasing grill marks. Number 3.
3. I'm
Yeah.
with Ty.
Yeah, you guys both. That's funny.
Yeah.
Ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, and relish. I
Oh,
love
and
relish.
onions.
I like the snoring dog with like the bacon and the guac.
She's going all in.
Yeah, you
The
are.
salsa, like give me all the good stuff.
Load it
yeah.
up. All right, should we say another quick look at that 10-day before we say goodbye?
sure.
Or whatever you got pulled up.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Fox Vision up just because I want to show off those storms again because they're starting to look pretty good around Flagstaff, around the like I-40 in between Prescott and Kingman, and then you got that cluster over the White Mountains. But now notice there's starting to be a few storms that are like just north of Maricopa County, and we're gonna have to watch those guys because those are the ones that maybe later this afternoon, as early as 4, as late as like 9 o'clock tonight, we'll have some of those storm chances around the valley for us to see. Then we look at the 10-day forecast, and the storm chances are not anywhere near done. In fact, they increase tomorrow.
Wow.
They're still pretty good on Friday. And then this weekend, there's I want to say we could see a storm, but it's less likely. Look at the cool down, upper
Yeah,
90s
that's
Friday and
nice.
Saturday.
Wow.
And then next week, the chances go back up. In fact, NOAA has already put out a notice for next, the 23rd and 24th. I think it's like that Thursday, Friday, for the potential of some heavy rain in parts of Arizona.
They can look
Yeah.
that far ahead.
Isn't that amazing?
All right, that's going to do it for us.
It really
Have a great
is.
day.
Bye.
Oh,
We have one more
Hey,
minute.
guess what? We've got
I
trending
thought it
stories.
said 27, and so I was like, we got to be out by 27.
Well,
we still have a whole minute.
Want me to talk about more weather?
Yeah.
Okay.
why not?
What you
Rush
got?
me on through, but
What
I'll
you
talk
got?
about more weather.
Gosh.
Here, wait, I'm going to go backwards on the
He's
graphics
trigger
here.
happy this one.
I am sorry.
Done.
I thought my day was over. Let's get out of here.
Okay, here's what I was talking about when it came to the risk for floods increasing. Today, for the high country in particular, where we saw there's that flood watch that's in like north and east parts of the state. But Thursday and Friday, much of the state is under that like 2 out of 4 on the flood potential scale for some scattered flash floods to develop. And then this is what I was mentioning. This is the Climate Prediction Center's outlook for the basically the end of July. And notice Arizona is still under the potential for above average precip. So, I mean, this could be a wet month as a whole, which would be pretty amazing.
A couple months ago, we put out a reel saying
For